Greetings and welcome to the Prime Directive. I'm your host Jefficho. My co-host is always Chris. Say hi, Chris.
Hello.
Lieutenant Counsel Sean is also joining us, and I haven't heard you guys' thoughts on the last Star Trek episode. Directed by Frakes, so you know it was good.
He could do no wrong.
Yeah.
And he didn't. This was the standout episode of Discovery, I think, not just season 2, as short as it is, but I think overall. This was a really strong showing.
I really liked it too. It was really good. I really liked how they dropped Arthur C. Clarke in the very beginning, and I thought that was kind of foreshadowing into the whole idea of having, aliens that are somehow guiding humanity or guiding other races. I mean, that was kind of addressed in Babylon 5 and a couple other places. I don't think Star Trek's really gone that route. You guys feel free to correct me here, but they've kind of been more indifferent, like the Q or any other ancient civilizations that have been in the Milky Way or whatever. But I just really like that aspect of Babylon 5, and I hope they kind of do something similar here. So
yeah, Kristen, you notice that the red singularities are kind of directing them to how to solve their problems.
Yeah, I kind of like that. The red bursts seem to have a plan, right? So the first one sends them to the Hiawatha, and they rescue Tig Notaro. And they also get that, big chunk of asteroid on board. And then the second one sends them to this planet where they just coincidentally everything goes to shit. And
right when they get there.
Right when they get there. But they never say it's because of anything Discovery did. It just seems to be a thing that was about to happen. And what do they use to solve that problem? Well, the asteroid they got from the first red burst. So far they've been on 2 rescue missions. And they've used something from the first one in the second one. So, there's a plan here. These red bursts, haha. I have faith that these red bursts have a bigger plan.
Is it of the heart, though?
The faith of the heart.
Yeah, well, no, because that's what we're talking about with Pike and this whole season is, faith and science.
Yeah.
And they're talking, do you think there's a greater power out there doing this? And that's what these red bursts are doing. They're directing them to these places.
If you're Michael, you're like, no.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I really like how The Rock gives Tilly a concussion, and then The Rock is the solution to the problem. So it's almost like The Rock solved itself.
Wasn't that a Voyager episode? One of the things I'm sort of interested about Tilly and her little hallucinations there is...
Just one thing you're interested about Tilly?
Yeah, little hallucinations there.
Okay.
Was whether or not those were caused by the asteroid or if that was the spore that jumped into her. A lot of people are saying the spore, but, her friend didn't show up until immediately after she got hit by the pulse in the bay.
Also, her friend was in Lorca, so...
Yeah, also her friend said she was with her in the bay. So, I think it's just the Rock. I don't think we've touched on the spore yet.
No. When we do, I'm sure it will be Lorca.
Yeah, I am 100. Yeah, Lorca's coming back.
By their own account, they left Earth in 2053. They did not use a starship. That makes them pre-warp, subject to General Order 1. We cannot interfere with their natural development.
Is it General Order 1?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Because I'm confused. So it made sense when they got to the planet. They didn't know there were humans down there. Well, they knew they were humans, but they didn't know they were long lost, from Earth. Okay. So they find that out, and then he still doesn't want to tell them where they come from or where they come from. But then he does tell the one guy, and of course, is he supposed to be like, I'm gonna live my whole life now knowing that all these probably curable medical diseases I have or my family has or we're just gonna die from them? Like, I don't help me out here.
I thought your analogy of a shipwreck was the best.
That's right.
Yeah.
People get shipwrecked on an island, and we're just not going to rescue them or tell them that they're saved. I don't...
Yeah, you could come back to the mainland, have all this medicine and all this better way of living, but because we don't want to interfere with the culture that you have created since.
But the cultural development of these people are humans from Earth, so we know how they're going to develop, assuming they don't kill each other. They're going to end up similar to what we're like, I guess.
I guess, I don't know. I think this is, at least to the letter of the law, a fairly cut and dry Prime Directive issue.
Is it to the spirit, though?
Yes. Yeah, but to the letter of it... No, I'm agreeing with you. That's the question.
Okay.
But to the letter of it, this is very clearly a pre-warp civilization. They didn't come from somewhere that knew about warp. They haven't developed it since then, so you can't touch it.
Angels brought them.
Okay,
Or one.
but I'll give you 2 examples here. Like, what if they were just like this backwater people that like lived in a farm and all this stuff, or they were a bunch of people that were all clones and they had to get taken together and away from their crashed ships, and then put on another planet to live together. I'm just saying, it's been done in the past where they were rescued.
Yeah, and Pike ends up going back down, and this is the era where we play fast and loose with the Prime Directive. Kirk's king of that, and that's even 10 years after this. So.
What Prime Directive? What are you talking about?
Yeah, what is that? They did go out of the way to show they had developed a very unique culture. They had a very unique belief system that was, theirs to their planet, and they didn't want to come in there and, muck it up.
It's great that they showed up in time to save them from, an extinction level event, but what happens when the next extinction level event happens because they're not in their actual home?
Getting to the bottom of these signals is of utmost importance to the Federation. They let you use the drive to fight the Klingons. They'll give us dispensation now. How long before it can be operational?
Once I begin prepping Commander Stamets, 20 minutes.
I loved how casually they just brought the spore drive back. It's like, we're not allowed to use that anymore because it's eugenics. And Pike's is like,
it's going to take us 150 years. Just activate the spore drive.
You just do it, guys. Whatever.
Starfleet said that if there is an emergency like a war, that it can be used. And also, if we need to travel long distances really quickly.
How do you define war, anyway?
Yeah, what is?
What is?
But
There's
that
an internal war.
That depends on what your definition of is.
That really reminded me of the warp speed limit they put in at the end of TNG, which they pretended to care about for a couple episodes and then just kind of dropped. So I think one of the highlights for this episode is just how much it felt like Trek, and how many Trek things it was doing right. And I think chief among them was we made an away team. Holy shit, I didn't think I'd be that happy about this 2 seasons into a new Star Trek show.
And they used a character that doesn't get a lot of screen time on it, too.
Yeah, they used Owoshikun.
She had reasons?
Yeah, and she was there, and there was a reason. We got some backstory on her. She went down there.
She said stuff?
Yeah, she was useful. She had lines. And I'm like, oh my god, this is how you Star Trek. This is how you make a bridge crew.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped for future away missions with future members of the bridge crew.
Because Pike will be there because this is before Picard and the captain always goes.
The captain always goes, and Burnham's going to go every time for some reason.
Yeah.
But
because she knows everything. Because she knows everything.
But one at a time, we're going to get a more away team.
Don't make me laugh.
Fortunately for you, I was raised on Vulcan. We don't do funny. Maybe I should just shut up.
So when Pike leaves, which is gonna happen,
of course.
You mean when
who
he comes
sits in that chair? They were to go to Vulcan to get their new captain.
I think it actually was Pike. I think they've said that out of the show, was they were going to get Pike.
Go meet the Enterprise at these coordinates. Go to Vulcan to get your new captain. 2 different things.
I know.
Secret.
I know, it's dumb.
Captaining.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when it's all said and done, are they really gonna put Saru or Burnham in that chair?
Maybe Burnham.
I think we're seeing something in season 2 of the fun level, the entertainment level. I think they can start to build an entertaining Trek in the direction they're heading right now.
Yeah.
But that's because of Pike. And I'm not gonna be as entertained if it's Saru. No offense to Saru. Great character, not a captain material for me. And definitely not Burnham. I will probably commit bridge suicide.
What is bridge suicide?
Don't ask.
No.
You're just hating on Saru because he's
I don't
livestock.
know. Well, right now we're complaining about things that might or might not happen.
Well,
I don't think there's much.
I'm not even complaining. I'm just saying, what's going to happen?
But Pike could captain the Discovery for 5 years, right?
Yeah, I don't know how bad is that Enterprise beat up.
No, but he'd get reassigned for a bit. There's a whole bunch. They could make this if they really want to keep him. They can keep him, right? There's nothing keeping him from getting back to Enterprise in time for everything that follows.
Or Rebecca Romaine could leave and take over the Discovery.
Ooh.
Because we do know Spock gets promoted to first officer.
I can see that. That would probably.
She has been a lead in series before, The Librarians, also directed by Frakes.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Delightful. And I believe there's another Frakes episode coming up this season.
Yeah, I believe there's an Orville Frakes episode coming up too, if we haven't already hit it.
No, we haven't, because I think the Orville Frakes is the one that has Troy as well, yeah.
Captain! Watch out! Go!
All right, final thoughts. This episode was fantastic, actually. This is kind of what I've been wanting from Discovery since the get-go. We had lots of good moments with our characters. We were doing Star Trek things, and we were throwing our big budget at it. This is basically what I wanted out of Star Trek for a new generation. We're hitting all the classics. We're hitting our away team, our problem solving, our talking our way out of situations, just all this good Star Trek stuff, and it just looks fantastic while it's doing it.
Yeah, can't argue with any of that. It's a great episode. I love where they're going, at least where I think they're going with it, and very minor quibbles about this or that, but no, it's great stuff.
Oh, like I said in my review with Cass that we covered this episode, was my only issue with this was Burnham, which is going to be an issue for me for a while, I imagine. But why can't Frakes just direct every episode? I'm just saying, the best episode of season 1 I thought was when Frakes directed it.
Yeah.
And so far, best episode of this season, by far, of this entire season,
that's right.
Frakes has
by
directed the best.
a wide margin.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for Discovery Thoughts. As always, thanks for watching.
See ya.